We now shift to the murder of rapper Young Dolph, who was shot and killed at a cookie shop in his hometown of Memphis. The rapper, whose real name was Adolph Thornton Jr., was called an indie rap pioneer by Spotify and was just 36 years old.
I go so hard, make them hate me. My whole life I'm moving, HD. Blue retro, blue AP. Too much ice, don't need AC.
Thornton collaborated with multiple artists from Rick Ross to Megan Thee Stallion, who reacted to his death by tweeting, "I am so sick right now, I am in disbelief. Praying for his family and friends. Rest in peace to my friend, a true legend, Dolph." Joining us now to talk more about young Dolph's life and career is ABC News contributor and Sirius XM radio host, Mr. Mike Muse. Mike, thank you so much for being here during such sad circumstances. For those of us who may not be as familiar with young Dolph's hits, tell us a little bit about him.
Hey, Lindsay. Good evening. It's great to see you. I just wish it was under different circumstances. Young Dolph was a father of two children. Young Dolph was a husband. Young Dolph was someone who had a huge impact in his community of Memphis. Young Dolph is known in his community as a philanthropist. He did a lot of turkey giveaways for the holiday season every single year. And sadly enough, he was actually back home in Memphis to participate in his annual turkey giveaway. So the tragedy and the irony that he was home doing good for the community, that he was actually gunned down and murdered in his community. As an artist, Young Dolph, as you mentioned, Lindsay, was a pioneer. It is difficult being an independent artist, but Young Dolph had the ability to rise in the charts. He had albums that were Billboard charts. He charted a couple of times with the albums that he had. He worked with some of the most well-known artists of our time, such as Meg Thee Stallion. He's also been left behind. You can see the tributes that are coming in from so many people in the hip hop and music industry that are paying tribute to Young Dolph. Young Dolph was also a messenger of the community. Lindsay, as you know, and as your audience may or may not know, hip hop has always been the message of the community. Hip hop through the music has always told us the impact of our society and the community and what the community was going through. And so the hip hop community and the music community at large has lost a really, really incredible talent and incredible human being.
But it seems like this is just one of many, that he's perhaps just the most recent young rapper to be shot in recent years. Here on ABC News Live, we definitely have covered the deaths of Nipsey Hussle and Pop Smoke. Can you remember an era in recent memory where rappers with such elevated profiles were gunned down like this?
Lindsay, I don't. I had to kind of just drop my head as you were just naming off a list of rappers who are just gone too soon. Too tragic. We've seen this happen too recently within the last 1 to 2 to 3 years. You're right. We haven't seen this since Tupac Shakur, since the Biggie, since the Death Row days, since the West Coast versus the East Coast days. You would thought a lot of that was kind of laid to rest. But I think, Lindsay, the advent of social media has really allowed more of this type of dynamic to occur, unfortunately, in ways that we really haven't seen it. But I think it's something, Lindsay, as I mentioned this a few moments ago, how hip hop and the music has always been a message of the community. I know, I'm not here to talk about politics, but as we began to think about the human infrastructure bill that is possibly being passed in Congress, I think it's important that our elected officials begin to look at what is happening in the communities, in particular marginalized communities where a job loss is at an all-time high. Economic, loss is at a really all-time low. And so how can we create wraparound services and social services for individuals in the community? Lindsay, I think this is an outcry for help within the community by way of the hip-hop community.
And you mentioned accessibility through social media. How do you think that social media platforms have really changed the dynamic, the relationships that artists have with the general public, whether it's fans or people with bad intentions, perhaps?
You're asking some really fantastic questions this evening, Lindsay. I think that social media has allowed for fans and also to those with not good intentions to know where artists are. As Young Dolph was an independent artist, he had to be out there a lot more. And now a lot more artists like Young Dolph need to be out in the community more to make sure their streaming numbers are up, to make sure they're posting frequently on Instagram so they can get booked for other festivals so that they can perform, because now streaming has cut into traditional physical sales. So they have to make up it on the back end for 360 deals and for festivals. And so you're just seeing more of them out in the community. And I think it's more on the community. It's almost the haves and the have-nots per se, right? So those who may be struggling see excess, right? They see grandeur, right? And some of them may feel jealous and may feel envious of it, because a lot of these deaths and murders, Lindsay, have happened from their own community. And so those who know them, right? And so I think because of social media, we're able to see the rise in this and this cult of personality, and also too accessibility and whereabouts. You mentioned Pop Smoke. That is why possibly some of the individual who murdered him, he's posted a lot on social media. And so people knew his address. They knew his home. They knew what was actually inside of his house. And so I think it's is a wake up call and lessons to be learned. But first, we have to make sure we honor him, pay his respect to his wife, and honor his children, but then again, to peel back some of the issues that got us to where we are, unfortunately, this evening.
Mike Muse, our thanks to you. We will certainly continue to follow the developments on this. Appreciate your time and insight.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.